If you want commitment, you have to model commitment. If you want a team to have excellence, you have to model excellence, because leadership is caught, not taught. People don't become better because you tell them to become better. People become better because they watch how you show up and they rise to the level of your example. Leaders inspire people to want to do it. That means sharing the reason, the why, giving people purpose and connecting their work to something meaningful. But leaders don't create dependence. Leaders create capabilities. People don't grow because you demand it. They grow because you invest in them. Your team is a reflection of your leadership. And so if your team lacks communication, you're likely not communicating. First of all, leadership is about influence, not authority. People are going to follow who you are, not what you expect from them. All right, welcome back to the Daily Mastermind. George Wright III with your daily dose of inspiration, motivation, and education. It's Friday. I hope you are having an amazing week so far. We've got a lot of things happening. We got the holidays that are coming up on us so fast right now. And, you're probably getting ready to plan for the end of the year. You're really kind of pushing yourself to set your goals and objectives for next year. But today, I want to talk to you about how there's a couple of extra things you can do to build into your plan. And it's in this topic of influence and leadership. Not leadership defined by titles or positions, but leadership defined by influence, your impact, your ability to elevate the people around you. I think it's going to be a critical thing for you this next year to truly see the most results you can. Because here's the truth. You can't build a big vision with a small team. And you can't grow a powerful organization with weak leadership. And you're not going to really make a significant impact without learning how to inspire and empower other people. So leadership is not something you do. It's something that you become. It's a mindset. Leadership is mindset, and it's a presence. It's a way of showing up to bring the best out in people around you. And when you grow as a leader, everyone around you grows. So today, let's talk about what is that leadership mindset? What do you need to do to really take things to the next level? And so one of the biggest misconceptions about leadership is, I've seen this happen so many times over the years, it's believing that authority or title or position makes you a leader. And, in my early sales days, I definitely thought that was the case. But leadership has nothing to do with what's on your business card. It's really not your title, because influence isn't built through a title. Influence is built through trust. Influence is built through consistency. It's built through who you are, not what you demand from the people around you. And we can all fall into these traps of trying to think that our leadership is our position. But people don't follow leaders because they have to. People follow leaders because they want to. And your team's never going to rise above the standards that you set with your own behavior. And so if you want ownership, from your team, you've got to set the example. If you want commitment, you have to model commitment. If you want a team to have excellence, you have to model excellence, because leadership is caught, not taught. People don't become better because you tell them to become better. People become better because they watch how you show up and they rise to the level of your example. And leadership mindset isn't, how do I get people to do more? It's how do I help people become more? And so the reason you're listening to this podcast, I'm sure, is because you love this idea of developing and unleashing your potential, your future self, your mind, body, money, business, to create a lifestyle. You've got to do that when it comes to leadership. So to become a real powerful leader, there's several mindset shifts you have to do. And I'm going to get real specific to the mindset, because I think this is this growth that you're trying to accomplish. These shifts are going to elevate you more than any strategy or technique is going to. The first is you have to learn to go from telling to inspiring. Managers tell people what to do. Leaders inspire people to want to do it. That means sharing the reason, the why, giving people purpose and connecting their work to something meaningful. When people understand how they commit to the mission, they'll commit to a higher level. And the other mindset shift you've got to do is you've got to move from controlling your team to empowering your team. And this is a hard one for me, because I'm definitely into the control factor. But I tell you what, I've learned over and over again, managers hold on tight. Leaders trust their team. Leaders learn to delegate authority, not just tasks, and they create room for people to grow by trusting them with ownership and giving them room to fail. You have to empower people to become engaged. And so when you learn to go from telling to inspiring and from controlling to empowering, the one other thing I think it's critical is you have to go from solving problems to developing problem solvers. Think about that for a minute. I know we're all really good, high, intensity problem solvers, but would you rather be a problem solver or a problem solver developer? I don't know if that made sense, but leaders don't create dependence. Leaders create capabilities. So instead of solving all the problems yourself and having your team go do it, help them to develop the skills, the confidence, and the autonomy to solve problems of their own. That's when you get the lifestyle. These shifts that I'm talking about are the ways to create and free up yourself, because that's the whole reason you're doing business is to create a lifestyle, right? So the leadership mindset that you've got to pull in, it's so critical. I mean, I want to talk to you just a couple more things today because I want it to be kind of a short episode before you going into the weekend. But I want to share just a couple of other thoughts with you on leadership and leadership mindset. It's so important that you may have a vision, but you have to lead with vision, not instructions, right? People don't commit to tasks; they commit to a vision that you have. You have to learn how to share your vision and be a vision builder for your team. When you build a vision for your team, they're going to go to the next level. But it's a psychology. It's a psychology, and it's also a safe environment you got to have. The most successful teams are not ones that have all the most talent. They're the ones with the most trust and safety to speak and say what they think and learn. And, it's just like raising kids. You have to let them fail. And so you've got to create this vision and share it with your team, but create a safe environment as well. And remember, you might be creating processes for your systems and your business and things, but if you can shift a little bit from creating processes to developing people, your systems do matter and the processes do matter, but your people matter more. Great leaders don't just create workflows and scalable solutions. And it's so common right now for people to feel like they could be a solopreneur. You hear about these ideas that there will be companies built because of chat and AI run by one or two or three people, but it's just not as fulfilling either. You've got to be able to build a team that inspires and grows. People don't grow because you demand it. They grow because you invest in them. And so when you invest in people, your team's going to grow, your leverage is going to grow, and your lifestyle is going to grow too. So, here's something most leaders don't want to admit. Your team is a reflection of your leadership. And so if your team lacks communication, you're likely not communicating. If your team lacks urgency, you're likely not modeling urgency. Maybe your team lacks clarity. Well, maybe that's because you are not clear enough on the vision. Leadership starts with you. It's not judgment. I'm not trying to judge you. I'm just saying that that's empowering thoughts for you, because if your leadership is the root and you have the power to change your leadership, that's going to help you to change and create success. So how do you elevate yourself so that you can elevate your team? Well, let me give you a couple of just suggestions before we take off here. Learn to be calm in the chaos. Think of it as, like we talked about the other day, as your emotional superpower. Learn to be calm in the chaos. Also learn to communicate clearly and consistently. You've got to be, so many leaders are unclear as to what they're expecting, but clear communication is leadership. State the goal, state the why, state the deadlines, and then state the standard. But be clear. And then listen more than you speak. That's a habit that you could really get a lot out. Listen more than you speak and celebrate the wins, challenge your team, help them to go to the next level. And just remember, it's all about growing your team. So let me leave you with the final three thoughts. These are the key takeaways I want you to think about when it comes to this influence. First of all, leadership is about influence, not authority. People are going to follow who you are, not what you expect from them. Second, great leaders empower, they don't control. They inspire people with their vision, they create safe environments, and they develop teams of problem solvers. They don't do it themselves. And then third and finally, your team elevates when you elevate. Leadership begins with self-leadership. That's why you have to have habits and communication and emotional mastery and belief. When you do that and you emulate that, your team will do the same thing. Leadership isn't a title, it's a responsibility. And when you embrace the responsibility, you become the kind of leader who transforms people, teams, and organizations. And the way you manage your inner world, we talked about emotions and mastery of, your leadership, the quality of your outer world is going to grow. So protect your energy. We've talked about this week. Protect your energy, stay emotionally consistent, and lead with intention and inspiration. Because the example you set is the most powerful leadership tool that you can have. And so I hope these are thoughts that have helped you. I hope you've enjoyed some of the topics this week. Like I said, I didn't make up any of this. This is all timeless principles that I've learned from some of the greatest thought leaders out there. And I'm just sharing them with you, just like I hope you will share them with others. If you've learned anything from today, share this episode. Hit me up on dailymastermind.com or hit me up on the Daily Mastermind on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. We're on all the social channels. And let me know what you're doing. What are you winning at? What are you struggling with? How can we help you? My personal email's in there. I respond to everybody. Sometimes it takes a while, but I do. And so that's the message I want to leave you with. I hope you have an amazing weekend. I will look forward to talking with you next week. Once again, this has been the Daily Mastermind. Have a great day.